of people think we are going to be facing?
Well, the quality of life is right now, and the quality of life is tomorrow and all the days that come after that. And so if we begin to realize that there is massive change that's occurring, and if we can...
Massive catastrophe.
Massive changes that are coming, because we already know from the past, the one thing that's happened over even the last 100 years, how rapid has that change come. My father started out in the horse and buggy, ended up on the man in the moon and the super information highway. Now, if we're still continuing to move at that rate, what am I going to experience? What are we going to experience? So, and when are we going to get that that's what's going on? So how are we going to prepare for that? Are we going to prepare for the downside of it? Are we going to prepare for the disasters? Or are we going to prepare for the potential that maybe we could use this technology, this amazing technology that we have, to communicate globally and to decide if things are going to change, if things are changing, how do we develop a system that can adapt to those kinds of changes and do it on a collective scale so everybody benefits from it, not just a few.
What are you suggesting?
Well, that's why, I've been coming here to New Zealand. New Zealand has a wonderful opportunity as a country that change can happen here very succinctly. People are very connected in New Zealand. One, it's an island consciousness, so they all identify, I'm an islander, I'm a Kiwi. And the other part of it is they're very interconnected. I mean, everybody knows everybody. All the families of circles are interconnected. So, in other cities, you're like, out in the country. In New Zealand, you're like sitting in the living room. Whatever happens, everybody seems to know about it. So you can have change happen here very dynamically. And for me, one of the reasons I've come here so often is I see New Zealand as like a perfect model to set something new up, where this might be something that would be the beginning of something new that could catch on for the rest of the planet slowly, however, but that we could seed something that is in the way of more of a collective or more of a community, a collective community kind of way of living. And maybe that might be something that ultimately comes out of all this, is people within New Zealand realizes these changes are coming, and they take the position, what can we do to better prepare not only ourselves, our neighbors, but as a country, what would we do to prepare if this is the kind of changes that we can expect in the future?
Should just clarify for me one more time, what changes in the future you think are coming?
Well, there's activity in the Middle East, isn't there? I mean, that always seems to be kind of a hotbed, and they just had a situation where, a flotilla of well-intended people were dealt with in kind of a harsh way. So that kind of harshness, seems to happen in the Middle East, and things can change rather dynamically, suddenly in the Middle East. So that's a component. The oil spill that's happening and what kind of ramifications there, that's a component. The fact that, we're being moved towards genetic foods and, the kind of quality of foods that we're being fed, ultimately that's going to have some kind of an effect. How do all these things that are all kind of seeming separate components, when they start to come closer to each other and one begins to impact the other, we seem to get a better picture that potentially it wouldn't take much of something one way or the other to spark something, that we would be going through another pattern or another experience that we've experienced in the past that has massive impact. War is a profound experience for those people that are involved in it. People who are experiencing famines, that's an incredible experience for those who are involved in it. So if this in some way begins to expand and have more impact on more people, ultimately more people are going to become concerned about it and want solutions.
So are you suggesting some sort of doomsday like other people